Hey, howdy, hey, welcome to Disney Night Live. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, greetings.
Hello and greetings, salutations. What's up, man? What's going on?
Oh, we're here for a Universal edition of Disney Night Live again.
Disney Night Live goes scary. It's a Hollywood Horror Nights review with I was trying to think because you're usually Animal Kingdom Aaron, right?
See, I did HHN Aaron today.
It's HHN, but I was thinking like apocalyptic Aaron.
Very good.
Something with an A like Animal Kingdom, but we need something scary.
I did have to change the name today. But
yeah,
that's all I got. That's all I got.
That's all I got. Becky and Mike, how are you doing?
Good.
Good.
Very good.
We're good.
Yeah. Good.
How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm looking for one group here that I need to share into. I'm looking at comments. Favorite night of the week from Lily Johns. I can't tell you how happy that makes me that we are somebody's favorite night of the week.
That's awesome.
Just to think about that. Yeah. And you know who else showed up tonight is Kim. She's here tonight. She wasn't here last week. I know.
Kim.
Yeah, I was a little upset last week. Didn't come on.
Hi, Kim. Turn on your computer. Jump on.
Yeah, come on, get scared. Let's get scary. Come on, let's do it.
Mike, what is your coffee cup?
It is the
Looking at it.
coffee cup, the PVC cup.
Turn it around though. He's seeing it's a camera on the other side. Like it's supposed to be like a camera.
Oh,
Very good. I get it now. I kept looking at a
little bit.
dishwasher or like a washing machine.
You're right.
Not dishwasher, washing machine. I was like,
It's not a dishwasher, I promise.
Like one of the tangled washer machines. It does. It looks like the door on it. Like we're gonna put laundry right in Mike's coffee cup.
Yep. Very good. Very good. Thank you for answering that question. So I wouldn't think it the whole show.
Right.
No problem.
Last week I had a Snorlax Pokemon one, and somebody commented on it. They're like, "I love your
Very
Snorlax."
good.
The Snorlax. I think it was Vanta who joined in last week.
Yeah, I think it was her.
Yeah. Kim says, sorry, last week I had something I had to tend to and couldn't hop on. Yeah, all right. I forgive you. It's been a week, so I guess I'll let it go. Lily says, this is as close I will ever get to Universal and or Hollywood Horror Nights. I really want to attend. We just have never gone. And we kind of live vicariously right through Aaron,
For now.
For now. I mean, Aaron is has been attending, and he did this last year. And Kim says it was a Sensi emergency last week. But, what would be the start of a show if we didn't talk about our friends over at dmagicworld.com? They're not playing Universal music. They're playing Disney music. At dmagicworld.com, you're getting 24/7 streaming Disney music, 2 channels or 2 stations, if you want to call it, on their site. You got the parks music, and you also get Disney movie music. With the parks music, God, it could just be ride attraction music or music from around the parks or parade shows. So much fun stuff. Can't forget that you can go on there and request what you want to hear. It's such a great feature that D Magic World offers, as well as the Now That's Disney tab up top. Takes you right to our Facebook group, Now That's Disney, the start of it all, the OG Now That's Disney Facebook. So please check out our friends at dmagicworld.com. And you know what? If you're looking for some travel in your life, I'm a travel specialist with Travel Nation, and I can help you achieve that wish of yours. I can help you plan. I can get you pricing, and I can help you book that future trip, that destination, that magical experience, especially Disney, specializing in Disney packages. I just had a client and their family leave today for Disneyland, so they probably won't be joining in. They were on the show last week, but happy vacation to them. So Oh, you know what else I want to talk about real quick? The new episode of our podcast is out. Episode 84, season 3. Season 3 meaning 2024. So I started it at the end of I believe 2022, and then so now we're in season 3. This is total episodes of 84 episodes. We've gotten over 3,000 I guess listens or downloads on Libsyn, but you can get it anywhere. So last week's episode is out now as the audio podcast, which was unpopular Disney opinions. So
Unpopular.
Not popular, unpopular.
Unpopular.
Yeah. What fun would popular Disney opinions be? We went
No fun.
No fun.
Exactly.
It's like the news. What fun is positive news? Nobody watches positive news ever. You know? So we should dive in. How long ago did Hollywood Horror Nights in Orlando start? It's been over a month at least, right, Aaron?
Yes, for opening night was August 29th.
Okay.
Normally,
so a month.
Yeah, and normally they start in September. It's like
Right.
the first or second week of September that they start. So this year there's definitely like 48 to 50 nights
Wow.
of this event going on, which is crazy.
Why do you think they did that, Aaron? Do you think they do it because they need more hours, or are they trying to
I think
compete with
so.
Disney
I
Halloween so early?
No, I truly think that this event alone brings so many people as it is that they are just trying to match the clientele and the need that is people coming in. People are going to pay. They're going to come. Honestly, opening weekend, the Sunday was the busiest day. For opening weekend as it was, I was there 2 of the 3 days on opening weekend, and they were manageable the Friday, Saturday, but Sunday I wasn't there, but I heard it was very popular that day. But I think that is it. They're just trying to give what the people want, and they'll go to this event as early as it can be given.
Yeah, some people have Halloween all year round in their life. They love Halloween.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. It's kind of like how Disney does with the parades. Like these events get really popular, and they want to be able to have people come as much as they can leading up to whatever holiday that is, right? So, but it kind of seems like all of these theme parks, especially in Orlando, are extending these events, either if it's a festival or HHN, Halloween Horror Nights. I think they need to have as long as the people are going, they're going to just keep extending it.
Absolutely.
Right. Kim says she wants to go one year. I love scary, fun Halloween. Yeah, definitely. It sounds like a lot of fun. I would love it. But it's kind of like, I guess we always ask that is the Disney Christmas parade too soon? Is the Disney Halloween parade too soon? And then I posted that question a couple of weeks ago, and now that's Disney about the Halloween, stuff. And people are like, most people are like, no, it just gives us an opportunity to go.
Exactly. Yep.
And get there, because not everybody can go right around Halloween time. So if you start it late August, it gives you plenty of time to get to these things. So I think just like, and we talked about the festivals a couple of weeks ago, right, with our imagining of this Epcot resort and how pretty soon there probably won't be any downtime in Epcot festivals. So
one will roll right into the next, to the next, to the next.
Yeah, definitely.
Just a circle.
Definitely. That's not me in this Universal ad either, by the way, with the horn scaring these people.
So what's crazy, what's cool about this advertisement is this house was called Darkest Deal. It was from last year, and it was my favorite house. This is technically the devil, him this character here. But it's like a Devil and John to Georgia vibe, but it was a singer. Cool. So he sold his soul to the devil. And that's at the beginning of the house. He's signing the contract, and his soul is now gone, and so he can be able to sing, and everyone loves him. But of course, he ends up taking his soul and whatnot. So he takes him to hell. It's really good house.
Wow.
I liked it a lot. But yeah, that was
That's
the
cool.
devil character.
So that photo is from last year. He's not around 2024.
He is not. No.
Oh, okay. So they're using an old photo for their promo, and this is coming straight from the Universal Orlando HHN site. You know, it says what everyone's screaming for, but it talks about how they have 10 terrifying haunted houses, but they also have 5 sinister scare zones. And I thought maybe before we dove into the individual haunted houses, Aaron, you can, for people who are either watching and have never been or will listen back, you know, on the podcast when we put it out next weekend, what a scare zone is compared to like an actual haunted house.
Absolutely. So as you can see, there's 5 scare zones. So if you're listening, 5 scare zones are on property throughout Universal Park, and so these are areas that you can walk through where it is themed based off whatever they decide that scare zone is going to be themed. So this year there's Blumhouse, Duality of Fear, Demon Queens, Swamp of the Undead, and Torture Fair. And so everything has their own story and characters that go along with it. But when you're going through it, it is an opportunity to be scared. So there are scare actors around, they're walking around, they're interacting with each other to keep the story alive per each realm, but they're also trying to scare you. And so they'll also, you know, these are just people that are walking up. Universal isn't a place where they like scream at you to scare. It's a lot of stuff that is pre-recorded. So they have pedals on the ground that they step on, which can create a bang or a flash of light, which is the scaring factor with their quick movements and their acting. But they're not going to be screaming at you like you would be at a smaller production aspect.
Right.
But sometimes it doesn't even have to have all that stuff. They're just walking around, and like Torture Fair, for instance, there's people who are villagers that are being tortured. So they'll come up to you and they'll be like, help, help. You know, they'll say those things, but it's them just like, you know, quick turning at you is what allows the scare. But yeah, that is what a scare zone is. They're throughout the park. And then there is like safe zones, which is just like anywhere else that is not where these scare zones are. But there is ways around them, but not always.
Okay, so yeah, that was going to be one of my next questions. So there are ways to kind of avoid the scare zones, but not all of them. Like,
yeah. And
okay.
and when you're walking through the scare zone, there is a area, like a set, it's mainly the pathway that the characters are allowed to be on, but on the like sidewalks and stuff like that, they can't interact with you.
Okay.
So there is like even in there, just like a safe zone throughout each one where you can either kind of walk around the set pieces and stuff, or you could just be on the sidewalk, and they literally won't bother you because they have their zone. If you're in their zone, fair game.
Okay, good. So if as long as people are aware,
yes,
and they know this, then they can kind of avoid it. Because some people don't want to have someone to like jump up on them and scare them, right?
Absolutely.
Not everybody's up for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree.
But then why do you go to Hollywood Horror Nights then? I mean, if you don't like that, that's like the whole point of it, isn't it?
There's so many people.
Hollywood Horror Nights, like I do too.
There are so many people that go and they're like, I don't want to be scared. I'm like, why are you here?
Right. I think they want to see
about
it.
Your money.
Right. Like they want to be a part of it and see it, but they don't want to be personally like scared. You know, I guess it's not for everybody, like scare houses or scare zones, or at the end of the day, I think everybody kind of has to just keep in the back of their head. It's not real, although Universal does a really good job with these costumes and makeup. You know,
absolutely.
Let me see if this is. No, I don't like that view. And I don't. I see myself and I get sick. Okay, so aside from the 5 sinister scare zones and the 10 houses, there's outrageous live entertainment. So there is something called a Nightmare Fuel Nocturnal Circus. have you witnessed this the circus?
Absolutely. It is Nightmare Fuel is my favorite show. So this is the 4th year that they've done Nightmare Fuel, but this is a new change to the story. The first 3 renditions of it, Nightmare Fuel, I forgot that one's like spin-off name, and then there was Nightmare Fuel Revenge Dream, which was last year, and that concluded that story, which was of a dreamer, just someone who, just a character, main character, who would go to bed but every night have nightmares, and they would kind of run his dreams in a very terrible way. And now you'd have to get out of them. Now these shows are very adult. I mean, the whole event is very adult, but this show as a whole has been known for its adult features in it. There is magic. It's also something they're very known for. Amazing magic tricks throughout the show where you can't even really even get to think about how did they do this trick. And this has been in all of them. So all 4 of them have always had new magic tricks evolving. There's a contracted group of fire performers. They're called the Fire Girls. They come every year. There is a couple guys in the troupe too, and they are from all around the world. I think there's one of my favorite girls. Her name is Shannon. I just follow her on Instagram, but she's from the UK. And they that's their thing, is to, do fire tricks and acts and dancing with fire and blades and stuff like that. But they're there, and there's of course dancers. So they always have dance numbers and stuff like that. Very loud music, usually rock based. So if you like heavy metal music, it's great for you. Yeah. But this one is the new rendition of kind of spin off into the story in Nightmare Fuel Nocturnal Circus. There's still your main character, and he is working for the circus, and he has seen the show over and over and over again in his dreams because he's living a nightmare that he fell in love with this acrobat performer from the circus, and she died one time in the show. And so he's reliving that dream over and over and over again, and he's trying to save her. So the time that we're watching the show is supposed to be the time that he saves her. And spoiler alert, he doesn't. At the end, it does a great job of retying it in, basically starting it all over again, and then it ends the show. But there's classic circus acts, there's not too many. You still have great magic. But one of them, my favorite part of the show is, I don't know if you've ever seen in a circus before, but hair hanging.
Yeah.
Women who hang by their hair. It is an original. It's an original circus act from China many, many years ago. But they brought it to this show, and so it's so cool because she's like this demon, and then they hook her hair up, and they're doing stuff to you don't see that, and then the music hits, and she flies up all the way to the top of the ceiling and then comes back down, and then you actually see that she's hung by her hair. So then she does her whole hair act, and it's really good. But they've done silk work and lyra work in the past, so I think they still, if I remember correctly, they still have it this time. But the circus theme is a great tie into it. Very creepy circus. Good music in the show, and they never cease to amaze the crowd with Nightmare Fuel. What's really cool, I was listening to the Universal Park podcast, and so they did their almost 2-hour long episode before the event started, about everything in the show. They talked to directors, show producers, and everything, and they're talking about Nightmare Fuel, how they had this dream 4 years ago of changing the show from what it was originally, and Nightmare Fuel, the opening night of the first show 3 years ago, they had about 50% full audience, and they're like, this is not it. People aren't going to come. But those people that night left, and they do 4 or 5 shows a night, told everyone else, and the second show on to this day, they have had a full house every single time they do the show because fans love it. It's so good.
So word got around really quickly. Hi, Marianne. Yes. How are you? And everyone else watching.
The word got around, definitely. So I watched closing night of last year of Nightmare Fuel and the last show, and everyone was we were just singing along and screaming, and it was crazy. I loved it. The energy was definitely one to remember.
It sounds like Pee Wee's Big Top Adventure. They should Universal should hire me for get a hold of my nightmares and make that next year's Nightmare Fuel. Kim will tell you I have some nutty nightmares. When I was younger, my parents wanted me to go and get like analyzed for my nightmares. I wake up in a full on like I'm paralyzed and I can't really come out of it. They're awful, but I kick and stuff and scream. She makes fun of me.
Sounds like it could be part of Nightmare Fuel.
Yeah, we should get that in for next year. We'll talk to somebody. Talk to Mr. Universal.
My brother's the same way, and I always tell him he needs to write them down and make a book out of them because some of them are crazy. And there's some good books and movies that are based off of like people who have had dreams. It's just
like
the way
Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars was that way.
Star Wars. It was George Lucas's dreams.
Really?
Uh-huh.
So I've never known that. Kim says, "Oh my gosh, she has night terrors." I do have night terrors. Kim wants to know: is it super scary, like over the top, or overall just creepy and fun, Aaron? Like the whole Hollywood Horror Nights vibe as a whole, I guess.
I'm gonna say both. They do a good job of supplying both of those things, super scary and also creepy and fun. It just depends on where you're at and what attraction you're experiencing throughout the event. Either that be a scare zone, the show, or the houses. And there's a lot of like creepy and fun houses this year mixed in with very scary houses. So I want to say both.
Okay, so it's a good mixture. It's a good mixture.
Yeah, I think so.
And they brought back the Death Eaters, right? The Death Eaters are.
They did. It was a hit, I believe, in the past couple years or at least 1 year that they brought it to Universal. In the past, they've always had it at Islands. So you would have to go over there to experience the Death Eaters and then come to HHN in Universal Park. But now they brought them back to Diagon Alley and they're a hit. Everyone loves them. And right now there's a huge TikTok thing with women and the Death Eaters. It's so funny.
Oh, really? Yeah. Most of the stuff I see social media wise always involves the Death Eaters. Like it's a lot of what people post about HHN. So yeah, people definitely enjoy this aspect of it.
And they're out. They can be out even in the rain because of how that land is built. There's a whole shade area, pretty much of wet water. So there is some areas that are off bounds when it is raining, but they can get all the way in Diagon Alley to Nocturne Alley. And I experienced them in Nocturne Alley one day because it was raining. And that was really cool. And it kind of made them even more creepier because that whole area is already so dark. And they like walk through the stores and come out, like super fast and whatnot. Yeah, they're definitely fun to go check out. And they do a little show as well. I'm going to call it a show, but it's just like a beginning portion and an exit portion in between their sets. So I'm not going to say it's like a full show. They don't really do anything, but just kind of stand there and look mysterious. Cast a spell.
Yeah, that's the whole point of, I guess, like the scare tactic.
Yeah.
Have you experienced any of the food offerings this year?
I have not yet. I have only done drink options, which are always beer for me. But the beer that they brought for the taps for this year are the same ones that they did last year. I've caught on that they do the same taps 2 years in a row. I don't know if that's exactly true, if that's why they do it, but I've just noticed in the past 4 years that I've actually gone religiously that it's every 2 years, then they get a fresh set of taps of different types of beer. Now they usually always have an Oktoberfest, a pumpkin ale, and then they usually do 2 others of variety of different kinds.
That makes sense. Pumpkin ale, yeah.
So usually an IPA and something else. But this year I've decided to just stick to just Miller's when I'm there because I've already had the other beer so much, and it's cheaper just to get a Miller. I don't really need that other stuff for that reason. If it was really good, new, sure. But this year I'm like, nah, I'll just stick with Miller's.
The
Probably half
picture
the price.
on the screen. Yeah, seriously. There's a it looks like a State Puff marshmallow on a graham cracker, kind of like a Halloween take on a s'mores, and it just looks funny because I love
It is.
the State Puff marshmallow guy.
So I went on Wednesday with a friend from back home, and they were visiting, and she got the Stay Puft marshmallow. So it's marshmallow. They torch it, and then it's on a good sized Hershey bar, and then a graham cracker. So it is a s'more.
Cute. Yeah.
It would be nice if they like melted the chocolate just a little bit, because the
Little,
top
yeah.
guy is like sliding around if you don't hold it right. She almost dropped it multiple times before she actually ate it. But she said she liked it. It was good. There's a lot of people I've seen on social media that I've, just friends of mine that I followed that have been getting them all the time. Definitely lines at that food area for that guy.
Cool. Oh, Kim says, who are the Death Eaters? So I know they're from Harry Potter.
Yes.
But who specifically are they? Do we a specific episode or throughout the parts of Harry Potter?
So technically, I heard that if you look at their wands, they're supposed to be actual characters. Now, mind you, they all look the same. The only real difference is the men's physique versus the women's physique, but also women wear character heels, which is just a small character shoe that has a heel to it. Usually they dance in them, but they wear them for their costume. But the wands are all different. And I heard that each wand is supposed to be one of the actual Death Eaters or one of the followers of Lord Voldemort. But I haven't caught on to anyone that I know based off their wand. So I'm not 100% positive on that information, but I was told from a friend. So maybe that's true.
That could, yeah. So Kim says, oh, so there's movie themes. Yeah, Kim, so even the houses we're going to talk about are, movie themes, right? So, hey, Andrew. Andrew is joining us. He said, hey, guys, just realized you guys were live today. I was working on my next video. It's Accessible Adventures with Andrew. Please check him out. He's a really nice person, and I think you would love his videos. So thanks for joining in. There's 10 new mind-ripping haunted houses here, and I guess we can go through each one. Do you want to go just in order how they're here on the Universal site? Do you want to talk about maybe your least favorite or your most favorite? How would you like to?
Yeah, we can. I have my list here.
Okay.
And we can go down from worst to best. And we can
Okay.
just bebop around the page if you're okay with that.
Beep bop boop. Yep.
All right, we're gonna start with well, I'm gonna read the names. So we have 10 houses: Insidious, Monstruos, Universal Monsters, Eternal Bloodlines, A Quiet Place, Ghostbusters, Museum, Deadly Exhibits, Triplets of Terror, Slaughter Cinema, Major Suites, and Goblin Feast. I just read those to you in my exact order, from best to worst. But we're gonna go to Goblin Feast is my bottom, my least favorite.
Right here, yeah. They'll feast on your flesh. It says
they will. So this is my least favorite. I've been through all the houses more than once. And my lineup has changed since opening day. Originally, my worst was Museum Deadly Exhibits, but I went through it again and it made more sense that time. So I mixed it around. But Goblin Feast specifically is my bottom. It is number 10. You're going into the goblin's home. It's basically the Goblin King's castle. And there's goblins, there's ghouls, there's orcs, hobgoblins, witches. There's a giant in there. And they're all preparing for the feast. And you are the food. So you're coming in.
We're the main course, right?
We are the main course, exactly. So they're getting ready for the dinner, but it's very campy. So the music in the house is very upbeat and kind of bouncy in a way. And the characters, they all look kind of like, all the goblins all look like Dobby, just green.
Oh,
And like their voices are very like high pitchy and like, whimsical in a way. So I've heard a lot of people like go through and like the house, but for me, it's not my cup of tea when it comes through it. But yeah, you end up and then like you end up escaping the house in the end. So there's this one goblin at the end. Its line is, the food is escaping as you leave the house. So you don't end up getting eaten, but you
excuse me.
do see a lot of the math of the feast that they're preparing, and they say, Happy Goblins Feast is what they call it, which I mean, clearly the name of the house. But it's like the event that they go through in the story. And you do see the King Goblin. He's very tall and scary. He's not any person. He's just a part of the set, on his throne. But yeah, the campiness for it is just not
there.
not my thing. And I don't find it very scary at all.
Right. I mean, goblins could be scary, but they didn't hit it out of the park in this one, according to our HHN insider.
That's a good name. I like that.
I know. Aaron's our HHN insider. I don't know. It just dawned on me. Apocalyptic Aaron, HHN insider. I want to come up with something better than apocalyptic. That's such a hard word to say for me.
Apocalyptic Aaron.
Apocalyptic Aaron. But yeah. The one that's right next to it on the screen here, Triplets of Terror. Something tells me that house isn't that good, but we'll see what's number 9 out of 10 on your list.
Yeah, number 9 is Major Sweets Candy Factory.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
What I really like the the photo for it, the artwork.
So this is actually a favorite for a lot of people. Major Sweets was a scare zone either this last year or the year before it. Everyone loved the scare zone, so they made it into a house. So going to the house, you're going through his candy factory. You're basically a school tour group. A school tour group. You're here on a field trip. You have Major Sweets, who is this gentleman here. The animation is a character. It's his factory. And then you have Mrs. Sweets, his wife, who's taking you through as well. But basically, the candy turns you into a monster. So all these kids get taken during their tour and turned into monsters. And so this one is very whimsical as well, but not as upbeat as what Goblin Feast is. There is a scare aspect here. There's loud banging. There's, intense music when you're going through the house. I'm going to say there's like blood and guts for here, but a lot of it's like candy related. So like you're either oozing like some sort of taffy or something to become a monster.
You're like in Candy Crush or something.
Yeah. So you're basically just going through his factory and you get out at the end. I don't really see the continuation of the story throughout, besides everyone just turns into a monster and then it's like, okay, it dies from there. But a lot of people like this one. They really do. This one usually has a really long line for it. And, I'm not getting scared in this one. So I'm just like, mind you, I'm going to say that a lot because I don't get scared in a lot of the houses. I will say I've gotten scared once, but that we'll touch on later in the show. But yeah, Major Sweets
is that how you judge your houses at HHN, like how much they scare you, or is it not just did it scare you? Is it storyline? Like how do you put that all together?
Yeah, so for me, since I have worked in theme parks for Halloween events, my level of getting scared is non-existent pretty much. But what I do look at is, yes, if there is some good things that I would be like, ooh, that got me. I still get like a little like tremble inside, but I'm not going to scream and like cower like a lot of people do. I kind of walk through, but I look at set, I look at lighting design, I look at storyline. Do I get the story the whole time? Is there some scares that I'm like, oh, that got me. That was good. Okay. So yeah, I do look at a wide variety of things when I level them out. Or is it something that I go through? I'm like, oh, I want to go through that again. yes, it could be all that stuff together, but if there's just an overall feeling of like, that was good, I got to do it over and over and over
Yeah.
again, that usually gets me a house that I'm like, okay, I can have you up high on my list.
Gotcha. Okay. So we know the score here too.
Slaughter Cinema, right there.
Look at that. I'm right here. Yeah.
Slaughter Cinema is number 8 on my list. This is, as you can see, a 2. There has been a 1 many, many years ago. I've never seen the first one. This was before my time of coming to HHN. But everyone liked the first one, so they brought back a second one. You're basically at a drive-in movie theater so a land, I'm going to call it a land, that HHN has created, the producers has created, is called Cary, Ohio, I think. It might be a real place.
Yeah, so this is a marathon at the Cary Drive-In. Yeah, it's a swing through scene. Yep.
Yeah, so when you're going through, you're basically just going through all the movies, like a very quick snippet scene from all the movies at this drive-in theater, where you'd be watching all these movies at. So there's, for instance, there's like a Killer Mummies, there's a Killer Clowns one, there's a Jaws style one.
Cool.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think, like a Santa Claus one. There's so many when you're going through this house, but it's like you go in, you maybe get 1 or 2 quick scares, and then you're on to the next scene. So there's a lot to take in, but there's a couple good scares in here, and I think that if you liked, you just kind of have to like that story. I feel with just a lot of randomness going on, like there really is. You're just going through the movies, so it doesn't really have the biggest storyline. So it's hard for me to be like, but it was on the lower end, but was a little bit better. I liked the theming. The shark one is really cool. It's a giant puppet. So he just like comes out and is like chomping at you. So I thought that was cool. I like the big puppets and stuff in some of the houses. So that's Slaughter Cinema.
They're trying to, I guess, let the different scenes, the different movie scenes, just be the storyline here, but that is kind of like sporadic and like quick. So
exactly, and it's from beginning to end. So really, the storyline is you're going through those movies that you're supposed to be watching at the Cary Drive-In. So
sounds like a good, like a fun idea, But
it is. I think it's a great idea. Is you don't have to think much about it as long as you have your solid stories. Each little movie story, but you don't have to do too much on understanding. You get that you're going through the movies, and you're gonna get scared. So here's the house.
Fun.
We can go to number 7, which is Triplets of Terror, the one you were talking about at the bottom.
Let's go back. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
It's like the artwork is funny. I know it's like pretty cool, but it also looks like I could have made those.
Done it. So Triplets of Terror, I heard, was a throwaway house.
Party's over, it says.
Something else was supposed to be, and where this house was, either an IP or something, but they couldn't do it, so they threw this in really fast. This is your basic slasher storyline. So these are the characters in the house. They are, they're
the Barmy triplets birthday celebration, but their kind of party involves recreating the murders of their entire family. As long as there's cake, I think we're there.
There is cake.
I'm in for that.
There might be blood in it.
Yeah, we're there, right, guys?
Yeah.
There are some really good scares in this house. If you like a classic slasher storyline, then you're gonna like the house. A lot of the scares are repetitive in the house, though, so that's where it's on the lower end, because I like Scream, which I think is a good classic slasher movie. So like I like this. They're just killing people, going around killing. There's lots of blood. There's lots of gore in this house. But there's a lot of scares that are the same because there's only technically 3 or 4 characters. Yeah.
Right.
So they're just coming up from here. Okay, you turn the corner. Here's another one. Oh, it's the same person. So that's why it's on the lower end. I originally had it a lot higher. I think it was like my number 5. But I did drop it down once I redid Museum Deadly Exhibits. I was like, I'm going to redo some stuff. But
you reshuffled.
I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, I reshuffled it, especially because I realized that a lot of the scares were the same, and I was like, okay. So they really Yeah, it's a fine story, but they just really threw it together. So
it's like an album, like back in the day, you used to get a CD or a tape, and you would listen, and then you had your favorite songs, and then as you kind of kept listening, other songs would move up for you, and then become your favorite. So
exactly
the same here, yeah. So
okay.
in these scare zones, or not scare zones, in these houses, like in something like this, is it the same scare actors in the home just popping into different rooms? They have like a back path to get to it, or like, do you know the inner workings of that? I was always kind of curious as to, do they just have repetitive characters being played by different, scare actors?
So yes, each scare, there's multiple people that do that same role. There's separate casts that they cycle through every 45 minutes to an hour or whatever their set times are. And I believe it's just 2 casts a night, and they just alternate back and forth. There is backstage areas in the houses so that they can, they all exit together. They bring in the new cast. They all get into their spots and start scaring from the get-go. And it's a constant flow of people in each house. So you just kind of have to be there in the right place at the right time, which is why if you have the ability to go in multiple times, it is good to do that, because you might get a scare one time that you might not get another time. So you could also go in a house and never, multiple times and not get scares in certain areas. And then you finally go in and then it's there. So either you miss the scare because, they already did it ahead of you or behind you, or maybe they don't have that spot filled that night. So they do have a backup group of performers that is able to fill in spots that they're, they fit in the costume and so on and so forth. Spares is their name, but yeah, so if they have the ability.
Right. Timing and, timing of the scares, right. Of the, as well as, I guess, who's doing that character that night, and whether or not maybe they're better at it than somebody else, or
and there's like those
received.
Yeah, there's those puppets too. There's a lot of houses that have puppets. So if they can do that, there's stilt walkers in a lot of the houses, especially in Ghostbusters. There is, what's one of the other things? There's like I'm going to say like aerial stuff, or like stuff you need to be on a harness for, and you're like swinging and doing things. So if you are not trained for that, and they don't have people to fill it that aren't trained, so that will be a scare that they'll miss that day, unfortunately.
Okay. Kim wants to know, how long is each house typically?
Probably 3 to 5 minutes. Insidious is 5 minutes this year. It's very long.
So that's the longest.
Mm-hmm. That one looks good.
Yeah.
Yes. Very, very good.
Insidious looks good.
What
Ghostbusters looks good too.
Yeah, that looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Next is Museum Deadly Exhibits.
Museum Deadly. Oh, there it is. The Museum Deadly Exhibits. This relic will leave you in ruins.
Yes. So the relic is the rotting stone. So basically, you're going right into the museum, and right now for the tour this fall of 2024 is set in this house. You're going to go see the rotting stone, which is an item that basically, I'm going to say, destroys things, but turns things to like rotting and otherworldly, but also brings it to life. And so there's a lot of you're basically going through this museum, and a lot of the exhibits are coming alive, and they're scary and creepy, and they're coming at you. And so, and originally, I didn't see the rotting stone when I walked in, so I was like, and I just kept thinking of the Rolling Stones. So I really was not.
It's just a bunch of like old rockers. They're like,
yes, right. So I was like, what? I was
90 like years old and still on tour.
Yeah, like 87, 90-year-old guys still having babies. Yeah.
I was really having a hard time in the beginning, and like walking through, I was like, what in the world is happening? Went through it again, actually looked, I was like, okay, the stone's right in front of my face. It's rather large. It's not even like
you just missed it.
Missed it. But then I realized that everything that's coming out is technically the exhibits coming to life, coming after you. So the storyline is very simple, but they do it well once you realize what's going on. So I did like this one, and this one moved up. This was my bottom house on opening night. I did not like it. It was also my first house for the season this year. And I was like, well, that was sad. But after going through, it is much better. As you can see, it's halfway up my list now.
So is this your biggest jump in houses, the biggest swing move?
I think so.
Swing vote? Yeah.
Yeah, everything else was just like little stuffs. But this was from bottom to number 7. Nope, 10,
like
9,
6
8,
or
7,
5,
6.
right?
Yeah, 6.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Now we start going into the IPs. Next, I have Ghostbusters, which I might move Ghostbusters up, but well, we'll see. We'll see. So, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, it is exactly based off the movie. Although, if you've watched the movie, there is some scenes that are missing. So, I think you could go through the house not watching the movie, and it wouldn't ruin you to go back and watching it. I think there's I've heard of a lot of people who are, it's kind of like things with books. Like they're like, oh, well, I haven't seen it or read it yet, so I don't want to go watch the movie. But I think you are fine going through the house and not watching Frozen Empire yet, and it won't ruin it for you. But they do a good job. There are lots of little Stay Puffs everywhere in the house. There's so many all throughout the house. You have your demon here, the main demon from the movie. He's in the house throughout it. I think they do a great job with him because he's on stilts, so he usually comes from up high. Yeah, very, very classic Ghostbusters. They have all your favorite characters in there. And I think they do a really good job keeping it fun and spooky. There's a scene where you're in the lab, and I think if I remember correctly, I watched the movie. I didn't really like the movie, but they're in the lab where they have collected all their ghosts, and there's some really scary ones in there. So like they show up in the, their cell in a way that they have them in, and they like break through and they scare you. So there's a couple good scares in this house. So I actually really like it. And going through it over and over and over again, I'm like, okay, this is fun. I think this is a fun house. It's very well done, beautiful lighting design, very good set design. So this one is very good. So I might move it up on my list of houses.
Rob Volpe, what's up? Piano Rob says, my favorite event. If you know Rob Volpe, Piano Rob, he plays all over Disney and other places. He's a terrific singer and piano player, but he goes to HHN like constantly. So I think Aaron, he's also another like HHN lifer,
Oh, very good, very good.
Yeah. But Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Okay, I'm gonna be really honest here. I saw the first one like when I was young because I'm old, and I loved it. There's been 2 other movies since, or has there been 1?
I feel like when they really brought it back, it was the one with all the women. So Leslie Jones, Melissa McCarthy.
Right.
I really liked that one, but I never watched I think it's called Aftermath or something.
The one with Paul Rudd.
Yes, because he's in this one too.
Okay.
But I didn't watch that one, but I watched this one, Frozen Empire, and I did not like Frozen Empire. I thought the story kind of changed a lot, character-wise and whatnot. Yeah, it has your classics, Bill Murray, all that stuff. But I was like, nah, I didn't like this one.
Just wasn't doing it.
Yeah, I need to watch that
one. We did watch the one with Paul Rudd, the second one, not the one with the ladies, but the first like one where they're bringing back
Paul Rudd. Okay.
Right. We really liked it. We really liked that one.
So
But
I thought it was good.
We didn't see the Frozen Empire yet, which we do want to see, but
it is on Netflix if you want to. If you have,
I haven't seen any of them other than the first one. Like I said, I was really young when I saw it in the movie theater. All right, let's see. You know what? I want to see if I can guess your next one.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's A Quiet Place.
Very good.
Yeah, I got it.
Yes, I was like, you're moving away from it.
Yeah, I was just scrolling down to see what was left, but
yes, next is A Quiet Place.
This says Silence is Surreal, A Quiet Place.
So if you've seen any of the Quiet Places, you will know the storyline. So this one is based off of the first and second movie. It has nothing to do with the Quiet Place Day One, but it is chronological order, first and second movie. But there is a mix-up in scenes in the house that even the directors and producers at Universal will say, "Hey, we have a little mix-up here." That it is not in chronological order, but if you know it very well, you'll see it's just out of place. But
So the storyline doesn't match up exactly. Like, don't get all upset about it.
Exactly. But they say the best way to go through this house is to try to not, try to be silent, try to play the part. Of course,
Okay.
you can scream, you can do whatever you want, but I think it adds a level of the experience if you go through and try to be quiet with all of these creatures around. The puppets for them are massive. I think they do a good job with a lot of the characters. They do say that there are characters doing sign language, but unfortunately, they are definitely not doing any sort of actual sign language.
Real silent. Okay.
They're
So I
just
can't turn
flailing
on
their
my toy space shuttle.
they have a Toy Space shuttle in the house, and so it's definitely there. It definitely makes noise. You got to run. I'm just kidding. No, but I wouldn't recommend because those creatures will get you. You will be dead.
I've never seen The Quiet Place, anything of it. I've just seen stuff about the movies, as well as people doing. Is it The Quiet Place where people are doing the challenge now with The Quiet Place with the pets? Because the guy was in with the cat. Is that this
I haven't
us
seen that.
or where he was trying to be quiet and he was running with his cat? So now people are taking their animals to see if their animals could be quiet to survive.
Oh, so in A Quiet Place Day One, there is a cat, and
Okay.
he does. One of the characters in the movie actually runs with that cat.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah, they added a pet in that one to add an extra level of anxiety when watching it because you need to be quiet. But
full on anxiety because I don't care, like in the movie, if the people die, but if like the cat gets hurt or dies, I'll get upset. So like it gave, just watching like this clip in like, whatever it was, Facebook or whatever, it just gave me total anxiety. So
yeah, so this one's good. It's not super. There is some really good scares in there, especially from the get-go. But it's good if you just like the film.
Okay.
Or the films. So I wish it was higher on my list, but it's not because I think they could have done a little bit more with the puppets and the scares with the monsters. But there are a lot of solid scenes in the house, so it's definitely good. And if you try to be quiet, I think it adds a level. But they really get you in the beginning. Let me tell you that it's hard to be quiet in the beginning.
So be expecting it.
Yeah.
I think we have 3 left, right? So we have Insidious, External, Bloodlines, and Monstrous.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to guess the next one?
I'm going to say External Bloodlines.
Wow, you're really good.
Really?
Yes.
I don't have his list. I'm just doing this.
Yes, this is true. He does not have my list. I did not send it to the team. I just kept it and was going to read off of it. But yes, Universal Monsters Eternal Bloodlines. Every year, I am a huge Universal Monsters fan. They do great jobs with the Universal Monsters houses. This one is Eternal Bloodlines, the storyline. So if you can see, there's 3 characters. There's Dracula's daughter, a woman that's more red-like. That is Saskia Van Helsing. That is Van Helsing's daughter. And then you have Bride of Frankenstein. There are more characters. There's the She-Wolf and Anaxaramun. So this house is a full female identifying cast for all the characters in the house. So that's really cool. But you're basically helping, you're going through seeing the story of Saskia and Bride of Frankenstein fighting Anaxaramun, Dracula's daughter, and the She-Wolf to revenge her father's death. And I think the costumes are beautiful. Set design for this house is beautiful. They always kill it with the Universal Monsters kind of franchise that they've done. I feel like when they started it a few years ago, they kind of just, people had loved it so much that they keep bringing it back over and over and over again. So I do like this house a lot. I think my favorite character is Dracula's daughter. When she's a bat, or more, if did any of you watch like the Van Helsing movie with Hugh Jackman?
Yeah,
Of course.
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah, love that movie. So good.
Yeah,
But
it's terrific.
So their version of like the, just being a vampire and then like turning into a bat in a way, or more with your fangs and whatnot. I love the mask that they use for her in here. It's very creepy, very scary. And it has a really good storyline. You get the point, you get what happens. And this is the one where they have the, the she-wolf. She's in a tunnel. It's very foggy. It's very low lit blue lighting. And she's in the back and she's on this zip line and just flings forward towards the guests very fast and is like right there swatting, and everyone's like, ah! So that's really good. I like that one. They always do some sort of acrobatic style scare in the Universal Monsters houses.
This says, the description says, all female, all fearless, all fatal. And yeah, I call it the Kate Beckinsale Van Helsing because Kate. But yeah, the women that played in that were great. Just flying around, screeching and stuff. They were pretty cool characters in that movie. That brings us to 2, Insidious and
Monstros.
Monstros. I can't say it as well as you. I'm going to say Insidious is next.
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, I got it wrong. All right, so Monstros is next. This says the monsters of Latin America.
Tres monstruos, una pesadilla.
Pesadilla.
So this house was in Hollywood last year. The exact house was in Hollywood. They just brought everything over to do it here. Hollywood this year has Monstros 2, which is a new set of Latin American legends. I do think that number 2 this year, a lot of the legends are kind of, I'm going to say dumb. Like they just don't even make sense. So I haven't dug deep into that one, but just looking at the monsters, I'm like, huh. But this one is so good. Originally, this was my opening night favorite house. So I liked it a lot. It has a very good storyline. It goes through each monster, what they do, what's their legend about, and then at the end, they're all mixed together, and then it's the end of the house. So very simple, but you get it. So the 3 legends that you're going through are La Lechuza, which is the owl lady. Basically, she just kills people. She's a flying owl. El Cebon, which is a demon man. If you hear his whistle, you're gonna die, and he just kills you. And then there's the Loajepuchi, which is she's like La Llorona, but she doesn't have the same storyline. So she's not a lady who killed her daughter or her baby, and then she's like haunting other moms and babies, trying to steal their children. She's like a witch vampire kind of legend. Like her hands are long and long nails at the end, but she has a woman's face. But she sucks the blood of babies. So that's her her thing. So when you go through, she has a baby always eating them. But you go through, you just go through each one. They have good puppets. There's an animatronic of the Lechuza in her nest, and it has big wings, and she's eating people. So she's body parts in her hands and her nest, and it's gross because there's a lot of bird poop everywhere, but it actually smells like poop in that room. It does not smell good at all.
That's gross.
Yeah, so you're actually in that vibe.
I'd be breaking out the Windex in this scare house, trying to clean up the set.
You used to be smelling bird poop, shouldn't you, Aaron?
Right. You work with birds.
Yes, you would think I do, but even today, I literally walked in one of the flights, and I was like, "It stinks in here."
Get out that.
So you would think, yeah, was not good. But I really like this house. I think this, they did the same style with this one as they're doing the new one, but we'll see if they bring that one over to Orlando next year. But I really like this house. Very good.
It's
I'll
a
go
good
through it all the
thing
time.
that Aaron is our HHN insider, because I don't think any of us could have pronounced the characters from this scare house at all.
No.
Like I was looking at them, I'm like, I might get El Cibon. I mean, but the other ones, like I'm like Tres Leches. I don't like, what am I doing here? You know, like I can't do this. So thank God it's you.
Yes.
Right.
The big one that's crazy is the Tuarepuchis. That's the one that you're like,
Yeah,
what is that?
because it's a T and then an L.
The
Tagapuchi.
Tuarepuchi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have never have gotten that one. All right, well, that leaves
And
us
we-
to our last out of 10 of the scare houses, and not number 10, but number 1 on Aaron's
Number 1
list out of all the houses.
I said earlier there was a house that scared me, and this is that house. This house is 5 minutes long. It is the scariest house they've done. Everyone will tell you that. You watch people leave and they're like either shaking or like, you know, talking to their friends, and you could tell in their voice they have just went through it. I've been to this house multiple times. The first time, there was a lot of good things. I missed a lot of scares. I missed a lot of characters. If you know the Insidious franchise, every single character, demon-wise, is in this house that they have dealt with in the films. Very, very scary. I think the most you see, like out of all of them, is the woman in black, which is she's in multiples of the movies, but mainly in the first one. And then you have the red face ghost, or the lipstick ghost, which is the character you see here on the screen. There's the guy from the key, from the lost key. His basically hands are keys, and he has like this weird respirator mask on. And then there's also someone who actually has a respirator on, and he's from the third movie. Who else? I think that's all of them. That are the big ones. But and then there's the guy from the first movie. He's like a man with this like biker jacket on, very long to the floor, and he's just in there briefly in the first movie, but he's also there in the beginning of the house. But very, very scary. There's a couple times where I'm like, oh no. Like, for instance, there's the scene you're in the house, you enter in the house in the beginning, and you're going through the attic, and that's where you see the first woman in black, and there's a bunch of these like mannequins, and then she just peers out, steps in the way, and then like will approach you, but her mask is like this, like just an old woman. But the lighting is so low, and I was not paying attention, and my friend was in front of me. She saw her step out into the open, and she was like, oh, hell no. And so she pulls me in front of her. I didn't see her yet. And then I just see this like silhouette with just the face floating, pretty much, because her dress is black in a dark room. And I was like, oh no, I'm actually really afraid. Like, I don't even want to walk through this. So I like zoomed by. But basically, you're going through the further. You can't get any more explanation than that. The opening scene is the red door. You're going through it. It is actually really cool because it's a very tall door, but the lighting is red. The door is red. And you're going through it, and you're just getting through the further, and it's such a good house. It is really, really good. Set design, scares, character-wise, all the masks and prosthetics they use are spot on to the film. So I think they do a great job, which is why Insidious is number 1.
It's number 1. And you know what? I just came up with an idea because Kim says, oh, heck no. LOL. Kim and I always kind of struggle, like when it's like Friday night and we want to maybe watch a movie. And Kim, like we should watch some of these. Like I've never seen A Quiet Place or Insidious or any of these. So like, and it's a perfect time because it's the end of September. October's right here. And we should kind of go through this, like maybe every Friday, kind of like start to get into these, these movies. Isn't there, not This Is Us, is it Us?
Us, yeah, another Blumhouse film. Mm-hmm.
That's a Blumhouse as well, right? So that's scary. Like we could watch that. Yeah. So that'd be a cool idea.
Yes,
Becky,
watched
Mike, do
all
you
the
like scary stuff?
films.
You guys,
I hate
Becky,
scary stuff.
you hate scary stuff. Like, yeah.
I'm more
She
of
doesn't
a,
watch it. She
I'm
won't
more of a
watch
like a,
I
give
love
me
horror
serial
movies.
killer type thriller. That's
Right.
my thing. I don't
Okay.
like horror movie. That if
Like
if
scary. You
it's
don't want
gonna
to be
jump
scared.
scare me, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. We watched a good movie last night. I'm not going to be able to say the name of it. You might like it. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a little older. It was with Emily Blunt and Benicio del Toro. Oh God, what the heck was that name of the movie? I'll find out for you. But that was good. Like she's like CIA, and then it gets into like drugs in Mexico and stuff, kind of like that, with the cartel.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't mind being scared. I love scary movies, but I like the original, like Halloween, Friday the 13th kind of stuff. But these all
Rowan loves
seem
that stuff. He
other,
absolutely
yeah,
loves it.
yeah. Brother and I will watch them every year and just go through, all the ones we've already seen. But these seem like a lot of fun, so I want to kind of get into this and because people are, this is like Insidious and A Quiet Place. People talk about this a lot, and I have no clue what they're talking about. Sicario, that was the name of it. Sicario.
Okay.
2015 film. Yeah, it was Josh Brolin's in it as well. Yeah.
The firefight at the border is a good scene.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool. Good movie. Yeah. But that's our HHN Insider. That's Aaron's review on not only the 10 haunted houses at 2024 Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, but the scare zones and the entertainment. So kind of, I'm hoping that people that listen back who haven't been there ever or are thinking about going, can get a good idea of what Universal offers, through the whole process. Because I think some people are afraid, like, it's going to be too loud. Is there, like also like with people, I guess, who are, maybe they can't handle like flashing lights or, you know what I mean? Like a lot of like, I don't like a lot of strobe light. That kind of gives me a headache. So I don't, I'm not sure if a lot of houses are using like strobe type light settings.
I don't, and speaking of that, like effect, I don't recall a lot of houses ever having a lot of strobe. Maybe once or twice, but not much. That like, and I've been through like cheap haunted houses or small sideshow stuff where they overuse strobe lighting to create scares, and I'm like, okay, calm down.
Right. Yeah, it's like too much. Yeah,
too much.
You're giving me a headache. I'm blind, and I think I'm going through convulsions here. Kim says Aaron did a really good job. It really gave me a newfound respect for HHN. Yeah, Kim, that's why he's our HHN insider. Other than Animal Kingdom Aaron, he's also a Hollywood Horror Nights expert.
Yes,
and
I am.
She
Everyone
also
asks
says,
me questions.
yeah, I love certain scary movies, but not like sick torture stuff, like Saw type. Saw doesn't bother me, but I didn't like Hostel at all because I kind of just got like sick by the fact, like, okay, if that was me and I was traveling abroad and then got taken, like that kind of freaked me out. The Hills Have Eyes also really bothered me, but it wasn't from like being scared.
Movie. I thought it was awesome.
It was kind of like the storyline, like, all right, I don't like any movies that have rape in them. Like I don't want to watch, at all. And again, animals. If an animal gets killed or something in Halloween, like I dealt with it in Halloween when he kills that German Shepherd, but only because the movie's really good. But usually I can't handle it. Lily Johns says, interesting show, even though I never go to Universal. Yeah, again, I mean, this we dive into the Universal thing as a Disney show and a Disney group, because it's a theme park and it rivals Disney. And there's a lot of people out there that love Universal. So let's give them that that aspect of it, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. Why not? Can't just be all Disney all the time. I mean, come on. But let me kick that off there. Let's wrap this sucker up. I'd like to say, Kim says, didn't realize how much artistry goes into it. I think a lot goes into the planning of these houses and this, not just the storyline, but again, costumes, makeup,
Everything.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been another fun Saturday evening. I have an early morning tomorrow. So we're heading out as a family unit, and we need to get to bed a little early tonight. So I think we are going to say goodnight. We're going to give you our outro. We're going to hope that you guys come back next Saturday to tune in and check us out. I'd like to thank the Disney duo, Becky and Mike. Don't think I didn't see your new name down there. Animal Kingdom. Next week, Aaron goes back to Animal Kingdom, Aaron. But tonight, he's
Yes,
our
I do.
HHN insider. And have a good rest of your weekend, everybody.
You
And
too. Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks,
see
Aaron.
y'all later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.